Jump in the car, kids. It's time for a road trip. Yeah, we've all heard that before. And family vacations is just part of summertime. And the preferred way of travel is by car for so many people. So joining me today is Michelle Donati from AAA to talk to us about road trips. Michelle, why are road trips so popular?
It's just one of those age-old traditions. From the time that cars been on the road trip has just really been the most common and economical way for families to travel. And this summer will be no exception to that. According to AAA's 4th of July travel forecast, 41 million Americans traveled by car over Independence Day this year, which is a near record for the holiday.
You mentioned it's economical. So why is traveling by car so easy on your bank account?
Well, when you look at families, especially for families, and you put a family of 5 in a car, you can do so much more economically than buying those 5 airline tickets. And so, just take my family, for example. We're a family of 5. So to fly to Southern California, for example, that's probably about $1,000. We can get there with maybe a tank and a half or so of gas.
Right.
So that's not even a couple of $100 there.
And almost the same amount of time it would take to get into the airport and jump on a plane.
And then we don't have to rent a car when we get there. And traveling by car also gives you that freedom. So if you see something you want to stop along the way, you want to stop and do that, you can do that too. And that's a really great thing for families because sometimes, especially when you're traveling with little kids, you need to stop, let them run around, play, get that energy out before you put them back in the car and get the rest of the way to your destination.
When we talk about driving our own car, even if it's running perfectly, should we get it checked out before we go on that trip?
Absolutely. This is the #1 thing that you should be doing before any road trip. And you don't want to wait and do it the day before. Do it a couple of weeks before. That way, if anything does pop up that needs to take place, you'll have plenty of time to do it. So we recommend visiting your trusted technician, getting a thorough check. Even if your vehicle isn't due for maintenance, I always take my car to my trusted technician. I say, hey, going on a road trip, we just take a look and make sure everything's okay.
Before we go on that trip, we got to do some research.
Yes.
I know AAA provides all sorts of information for us, but what kind of research should we be doing?
Well, you want to research the destination itself. So you want to find out, are there any festivals or events taking place? I mean, that might influence your decision to travel to that destination, or it might deter you from that destination.
And you talked a lot about kids in the car. Those kids get bored.
They do.
And they get bored real fast.
They do.
So what kind of ideas do you have to keep them busy?
So I can attest that I am a little bit of a professional at this because I just made the road trip with my 3 kids by myself to Southern California. And again, 3 kids under 5. The key is to really keep them entertained, breaking that trip up in giving them things that they haven't seen before. So if you give them the same thing that they play with every day, even if it's a tablet, which can really come in handy during a trip, they're going to be bored with it within a half hour or so. You can make a quick trip to the dollar store, very inexpensive store, department store, and find things that are road trip friendly. So a couple of things I've picked up. This is a checker game. It is actually magnetic, so you're not going to lose the pieces along the way.
Yeah.
Just fun coloring things or books or small toys, handheld toys that might be able to pass back and forth.
And I noticed that you have little buckets here for each one of the kids.
Yes. So you want to make sure that whether you have a bucket or a bag, that you don't give this to them all at once. You want to hand out one thing at a time. Otherwise, you are unveiling your entire bag of tricks, and that is not going to help you one bit.
And what do you recommend to keep the car clean? Because that's a lot of people in a car for a long period of time.
People in a car. Well, one thing with kids is I always recommend having a spare change of clothes for every child in the car kept in the cabin of the car. And so the last thing you want to do is if there's a spill or any car sickness, have to pull over and then unpack your trunk to get the clothes out to change your child. But in addition to that, you can look at household items. So this is a cereal dispenser. This is what we use for a trash can in the car. It's going to keep the trash contained. We can empty it when we get to a gas station, but it's also going to contain any smelly things along the way.
First aid kit, mechanics kit, should we carry that stuff as well?
A roadside kit, especially that. So you want to have a roadside provider like AAA, recognizing even if you can change a tire on your own, you don't want to do so on the side of a highway. You want a trained professional like AAA to take care of that for you. But an emergency roadside kit can help you make a minor repair or at least make the wait for help more bearable. And we always, always, always want you to travel with plenty of snacks and drinking water in your vehicle. Again, if you do break down, you want to make sure your family can stay safe, hydrated until help does arrive.
Great information, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're getting us road trip ready. For more information from AAA, just head to their website.